Right, next video. This one is basically a companion piece to my Frederick Barbarossa video, right? Because looking at this Ottoman Empire, I could see in another one looking at it that it's basically full of codes about transportation and like taking the east and the west and stuff like that, right? I think basically this is a hex. This is a total hex empire. They've made it up to be like a stopgap between the eastern and western type of empires, you know. So you've got your Indian type of thing in that, and then you've got this in between, like India and Europe type of thing, and I think it's made up, right? You see, like the Otto, right? You see how that's mirrored, the TU, right? The TT, right? The TT, the trans, but it become like so that's like the two idea, like a transportationist idea, you know. Transporting the type of the trans stuff out of the west, right? And when you have the OTT, right, you basically get the whoever the top, not this, you know, daft film and that, but you get like whoever the top, which becomes an expression for extreme or exaggerated, right? So it's like this whole idea about this Ottoman Empire becomes this exaggeration. And something made up, you know, end on. It's you know, I mean, you've seen some of the stories about it, like what it's about. That sort of excessive wealth and that sort of, you know, harems full of dancing girls and eunuchs all over, and it's like it's a fantasy, you know, it's a fantasy type of thing, you know. Whoever the top, right? But again, it's sort of hiding the fact of the sort of Indian type of ideas, the Eastern ideas, right? And before they get to the West. And of course, this was a very big idea within that World War I thing, you know, where they supposedly sent them over the top into no man's land, right? No man's land, which again would be like a Masonic type of idea about where the natural people are, you know, in no man's land. See what I mean? So this, you know, this Ottoman Empire thing is gotta be fake, guys. You know, of course, all the type of emperors and all this are just basically made up type of thing. But so when you have the TU as well, right, you've got this mirrored TU, and you've got trans operations. You know, you've got the trans operation. The size of the hats on them, you know. You know, why would blokes walk around with big massive hats on like that? Everything about it is an exaggeration. You know, and it's like because the actual realities would be more along the lines of Indians. You know, like it's in a very Afghani type of look, you know, where they walk around in towels around their heads and you know, beards and that, obviously. But this is sort of like an exaggerated thing to make you believe there was this massive wealth idea there, and then there was all these eunuchs about saying it's like one of their fantasies, you know, just like the Roman type of idea. And of course, Masonic, you know, it's Masonic. So the whole empire has to be made up. Yeah, whoever the top, you know, it's an whoever the top idea. Again, connected to the Islamic thing, so it's like it brings about like a justification for the Islamic, you know, because people start talking about the Islamic idea, and then, you know, they mention, oh well, the Ottoman Empire used to rule over all the whole world and all this. And of course, it never existed, you know. Ottoman Empire, it's, you know, total fantasy, like. I mentioned another one, how the Turkish idea, you know, the Turkish becomes the Christ. It becomes the Christish, you know, the Christish idea, and again, like Krishna or something. So again, it's on the way to Europeanizing very Eastern ideas, you know, making them a little bit more European, until eventually, you know, they take over Europe and make it into something along these lines, which is what they want to do. And of course, Suleiman, it's the same as King Solomon idea, Solomon. So it's like this is like a sort of a wish fulfillment, of what they want it to be. Like the Roman one, it's what they want to bring about. And of course, they see it already existed, which of course, it didn't, It's the key, the key idea. The key is for turning the lock, entering Europe with that Eastern what do you call it? And if you remember Turkish Delight, Fry's Turkish Delight used to be big adverts on the TV back in the 1970s and 80s. The Fry, obviously, Islamic store, yes. So this was pre-programming basically towards the Islamic, bringing the Islam into the Western lands. Right? These adverts were very famous and that, full of Eastern promise and that they used to call it, and it portrayed again like a very romantic idea of this type of Islamic thing, and that, and of course what really the realities, probably the realities behind this is there, like India, Of course, like a lot of people in the heart of India is all in party and that, see what I mean? So, you know what I mean? This is like a fantasy idea based on Indian type of stuff. Very popular adverts in the 70s with it. It's a Canadian city we call Ottawa. There's the sort of symbol for it. Jew star, Ottawa. It's in Canada. So again, you're talking about Jews being at the head of all the we're in charge of Islam basically. They created it as multiculturalism. Like the Romans' idea as well, like big on trade routes, big on ideas about trade, and they're taking over, taking over from the east into, in India, of course, prominent factor, and they're taking from the east over into the west trades, right? But of course, what's not openly discussed is the fact the biggest trade of all is, or one of the biggest trades, probably the biggest, is the trans medicine. That's the biggest trade, the trans medicine's more important a trade than, whatever else. The Silk Roads, space, it's all to do with the King Solomon, of course, with the Bible. Jewish as. So again, I'm seeing this thing didn't even exist. It's just like a Jewish fantasy type idea. Again, projecting that sort of their future, their reality is what they wish to create. I.e. bringing Islamicness and which is just multiculturalism, bringing multiculturalism and further Jewish type of control into the Western societies. Space suits, you had the Space Girls, of course, It's all about preempting these type of things, what they want to do. Ginger space. That, Traded in the Eastern world, of course, very important to them. Of course, that ginger space. In Horner, like Moses. And was always wearing like a Union Jack dress, this ginger space, a plant native to Asia. So the bloodline of this ginger spice has to be, Jewish and native to Asia. I was wearing the Union Jack and British flags, to trying to associate Eastern ideas with, Western ideas like Britain, all the time. Wearing the British flag idea and all that. Easternizing the West. looks like the ginger hair, you know, like the Jew, you know, the Jew ginger. Born ruddy. And he had this no man's land thing, read, which was part of this World War I hex. It's metaphorical. It's metaphorical, read. It's about when they were travelling from the east to the west, right? The Jew idea, they grew from east to west. So this represents like that, the no man's land in between. You know, it's representing their struggle as a Jewish peoples and all that. To you know, like to conquer the Western lands. You know, it's all metaphorical Judaism idea. With TT. Again, the idea of like not being a Mason, right? Like in the desolate, you know, the desolation idea of the Bible again, right? That's where they want to put like non-Masons in the desolate area, you see what I mean? Like that biblical stuff. It's where they wish to put the non-Masons. This was not a TV show back in 1982. It was basically a follow-up to the Tiz was, which was a very popular show. It's called OTT. Over the top, see? Yeah, to sort of to prove that that's what it's about. You know, you have this Suella Braverman, Suleiman, you know, Suleiman the Magnificent. Again, you know, this type of Eastern idea. Remember, it doesn't have to be Islamic, it can be, you know, Hindu as well. I don't think this one particularly known as Islam or whatever, but Suleiman the Magnificent, you know, because that Ottoman Empire thing is predicting the Easternization of the West. Castrated, a brave man, castrated brave man, see? Suleiman the Magnificent. So you see what I mean? It's the daughter of Umar, Empire. So you see what I mean? It's predicting the Ottoman Empire. It was predicting the multiculturalism, you know, it's a predictive fantasy, what's written in as a predictor of the future, you know, who controls the future, controls the past and all that type of thing, you know. Probably something to do with it as well, you know. To give like a fond idea, right, about Turkey, which is Ottoman, right? And so we have a Christian Christmas idea. So again, this has got to be like a brainwashing idea, you know, where you're sort of associating the name Turkey, right, with, you know, Easternism and you know, multiculturalism and all this. See what I mean? It's all brainwashing what to use. Again, there's our Henry VIII. You know, Henry VIII looks pretty much like one of the King Othman or Osman of the Ottoman Empire, you know. Yeah? So this has got to be, yeah, it's brainwashing. It's all part of brainwashing for the Islamization or Easternization of the West. Now that Ottoman Empire end on. Last thing, looking at this tomb. Tom means vacant time, leisure. Dumping ground for rubbish. Yeah, this is possibly to do with, you know, like multiculturalism type idea. Tom, yeah.